everyone, and welcome to Rebuild Illinois, where we get to talk about how we, the people, take charge and make Illinois a good place to live in.
Hello to everyone coming in. I just want to let you know that we are just getting this stream started 5 minutes early. If you're in, make sure to let us know where you're from in the comments. Share this out to people you know. Well, hang tight for about 4 minutes, it looks like, and then we'll go right into the show. Welcome. We'll be live in about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Make sure to go out and share this on whatever platforms you're watching on. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We don't have our Telegram hooked up right now, but make sure to tell people. I'm going to post that in our Telegram chat right now. So 3 minutes on the counter. Make sure to bring all your friends in. We'll be here waiting for you.
Alive and well, I'm wide awake. Won't take your brand, I'm not your slave. You serve your God, Lord of the flies. I pity you and you mean mine. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes. Your bloody mouth unsatisfied. God sees the trap you set for me. He'll not be mocked, I will be free. We will not bend, we will not break. How dare you touch what God gave? We'll never give in, never give up, never back down, never surrender, never surrender. Your fear will not make me behave. I won't march in your masked parade. Your hollow threats won't shut me up. I won't bow down, enough's enough. You say you'll give us what we need, as if you own the air we breathe. Stand up 100 million strong. Thought we lied down, well you thought wrong. We will not bend, we will not break. How dare you touch what God gave? We'll never give in, never give up, never back down, never surrender, never surrender. Oh, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus with me every step. Just keep going, keep on going. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus closer than my breath. Just keep going, keep on going. We will not bend, we will not break. How dare you touch what God gave? We'll never give in, never give up, never back down. We'll never give in, never give up, never back down. We'll never give in, never give up, never back down. Never surrender. I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus with me every step. Just keep going, keep on going. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus closer than my breath. Just keep going, keep on going.
Welcome to our grand return. I want to let you know that song has actually been given. We've been given permission. I don't know what YouTube's going to do with that, and everyone else is going to do with that. I'm sure we're going to get flagged, and then we're going to have to argue that we've been given rights by the artist. Tonight with us is Teresa Rayborn and Professor Benjamin Beerley, retired major, and we're making some sort of a comeback. We're going into the new year kicking and screaming. Wouldn't you say? No,
We're doing our best to get off on the right foot here.
sure. Yeah.
We got 2020 behind us. 2021.
Well, it started with 2020. 2021 is complete skip over, I think.
Yeah, 2021 was just 2020 part 2,
Right. So
I think we can say that 2021 was more like exponentially worse than 2020.
And for personal crap, it's not even for it's like 20. It's like we got used to the COVID BS, and then now what we're doing is basically like the rest of all the scaffolding came falling down during. So
yeah, it was kind of for everyone, just across the board. I mean, it was just havoc in 2021. We don't need to repeat that.
Yeah, well, and for those who don't know, basically, I kind of feel like myself, I lost one of my best friends, and probably about 5 other people, not even COVID related. One of them was COVID related, and I want to make sure that everybody understands that it was the protocols, not the flu, that took my buddy. That took about 3 months for me to dig out of. Ben has had his own tragedy, losing his son, and man, if I could hug you right now, I would. It. And Teresa is just wrapping up, moving, going through 2 major life changes. Do I even say one of them is moving, which I helped you do?
What?
One of them was moving, which I helped you do.
Yes.
Dear God.
He did a lot of heavy lifting.
There you go.
I was sore for a week. And so, honestly, I think we're just glad to be on this side of it all. I mean, we wish we could go back and get all of our loved ones, but we will see them again. And we are going to continue to fight so that other people don't have those same scenarios happen to them. And all of these things, just kind of a crappy 3 or 4 months, I would say.
I think that tail end of 2021, the words that come to mind is tragedy and trauma. Trauma.
Yeah. So this smile is forced, but I love all of you. I'm glad you're here watching with us. We are not on Telegram tonight. This is a first. This is the first time I'm going without Telegram. And it's not that I don't love my Telegram family, but they've all been notified. They know how to get here. We want them to share. I would love to. I may even just take a quick little screenshot. Let me do this. Everyone thumbs up or smile or something. That was really pitiful. Let me try one more time.
I'm sorry, I don't like my picture here. I look like I got a big honker of a nose, here.
You're not using the good camera, I guess.
Mm-hmm. No, I've been having problems with the other camera, so I
got to get over and visit.
Get off my
yeah. So just so you know, we're going to try and keep this to an hour, a nice tight hour. Let me actually do a little directorial stuff here. Doing what we can to figure out the new tech that we're working with. Thankfully, we've been working very tight with PNN, which is Patriot News Network. They're kind of difficult to find. We're going to try and fix that in the coming months, but he's also been going through a life change, had a new baby, and has purchased a house and is rebuilding his house. But PNN is providing us the license to be able to use StreamYard. So we're very thankful for their support. But really, these new tools are going to allow us to have a lot more direct access to interviews. We're already reaching out to all the people that we would love to get in. The ones that we can get in for a close, intimate, direct interview here in studio, we will do. We also have some new live tools that we're going to be working with that should be amazing. We have we're trying to figure out if we can get into like doing event planning. We got a lot of things. We had a board meeting last night, and I think that went pretty well. But here we are, getting ready to actually continue to stir the political pot, I guess you might say, here in Illinois, and bring the conversation to a more conservative level, I think. Teresa, I think I'm going to let you kick off our first segment we're going to talk about here in the next 10 minutes. Kind of wanted to know what, I'm trying to remember, what did you have down for notes? I'm looking myself. We were going to basically
Vision
talk
for
about the
2022.
hopes and direction for 2022.
Yeah.
We're putting 2021 in the rear view mirror.
Adios.
So
I've never
adios.
been so happy to get rid of a year.
So what are your hopes and directions for the upcoming year, especially with our organization, with what we're with what you're trying to do? I know that you're not doing that campaign, but I'm going to let you tell everyone. So tell me what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, I'm not running for office for 2022. So that's off my plate, which gives me more time to focus on my family and focus on Rebuild Illinois and my podcast. So I'm ready to start those podcasts, but I kind of need someone to come around here and help me get stuff set up again. But
I got a little bit of visiting down Southern Illinois, southern suburbs, I guess you might say.
it is not Southern Illinois.
It is if you live in
Northern
Chicagoland.
Utah.
Bourbonnais is Southern Illinois.
So we do have, hopefully that will be done in the next week or so, and I can start putting out all of my videos because I've got notes ready to go, and I'm ready to dive into the Daily Dose, which is a daily Bible study where supposedly from January 1st to December 31st, we get through the entire Bible. And so I have a couple of days already that I'm already a day behind on recording that because I need some assistance with lighting and all that jazz.
I plan to be there within the next week or so and making sure that she does get all of her technicalities fixed up. I think that's what I bring to bear on this is the
Technical.
weird tech stuff. Yeah. And let me so go ahead, finish up.
So, and then of course, getting the Blessings of Liberty is my political / news one, and getting that up and running too. As far as Rebuild Illinois, I think we have a lot of things coming on how you can get involved. Some of the work that I've done in the past for my campaign on how people can get involved in many different areas, we're moving that over.
We're shoveling over to the side. Yeah, we're going to
Yes.
bring it all folded into what the resources that Rebuild Illinois has. So
Right.
really, a lot of your work doesn't go.
No. I want that to be for the people of Illinois, and even beyond how people can get involved. There's many different ways. You don't have to run for office to be involved. And there's many, many things, even for shy people who don't really want to get involved in public speaking or any of that. But I think our biggest strategy for here in Illinois is, number one, we definitely need to get precinct committee people in place. And number two, we have a huge plate of great candidates that are running this year. Many of them, Ben, Christian, I know personally.
So we look forward to introducing you guys to them and
Yes.
having those conversations directly. I believe that's what we're so excited about, is that we started this 2 years prior.
We interviewed three folks who are running for state office before they actually decided to jump in. So that was season 1 when we were actually doing in-studio interviews, and we're looking forward to getting back to doing interviews here this year.
Yeah, and I just want to say real quick before I let you run here, Teresa, I've noticed that you and Ben have a very similar bookshelf. I don't have any books behind me. I feel really I feel really uneducated.
You're just uneducated. Yeah.
And just to let everyone know, these are not mine and Ben's are not backdrops at all. He can reach around and grab stuff
Hey,
off the shelf.
You're
And
just
so-
unloading boxes still.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've got all my books hidden over on
And
this other side over here.
Ben, do you see this book right here?
Oh,
Yeah.
David.
Does it look familiar?
Yeah.
Do we know the author?
Yeah. I actually have his phone number. So David
We should-
Sestokis.
Anything else that you're going to be you're planning for the year, Teresa, coming up?
I just really want we need to take back Illinois. Bottom line.
Right.
Let's activate, let's get people going, let's get people involved, and let's make sure that we turn this thing around, because all of this stuff about COVID and lockdowns and the tyranny and you can't do this, and you can't do that, we need to stop that, and we need to take charge and bring freedom back to Illinois.
Well, we definitely have
Jen,
a lot of
Y'all see that
yeah.
comment? Looks like
Oh,
you're
yeah,
sitting next
Jen.
to each other at the library.
I think if I take myself out, the two of you.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're at the library.
Yes, Jen, we're at the library. Can you tell that we're all basically homeschooling families? Ben, I don't think Ben is doing the homeschooling right now, but you used to. So you know that
Yeah, we
education,
used to.
books, learning are really huge in our families.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I know that some of the things that we've been talking about in our meetings are actually providing resources for the participants in this organization or the audience that we try to build. We actually want to bring value, not just in media. Hopefully, I mean, I think it was really interesting. I actually pulled a video earlier. I might even be able to pull it up now, but it's talking about, it's actually on my vlog where I literally made a post like 7 days after we did a week after we did our first show, Ben. And
Mhm.
I'm encapsulating, we want to become like a PragerU, we want to provide educational ammunition for those who need to make those educated decisions for themselves, and B, so that this next generation actually has, they're not being equipped, and we don't want to be preaching to the choir. We need to be using the media that is going to actually have some longevity and some legs. So if the teachers refuse to teach, then we become the teachers. It's a very similar situation. So
Well, that's one of the things that I ran into with my campaign, is that I had all these great ideas. Nobody was listening. Nobody in politics was listening. I didn't realize how bad it was, and just how politics really were, and how the politicians were, that they don't really listen to the people. I thought they did, or at least they were supposed to. And so I decided to run and be that voice for the people, but I didn't know how to run. I was honestly Googling, how do you get on the ballot? How do you run? What are these petitions? I didn't know what a precinct committee person was. I had never heard the term. I was in my 40s and never had heard the term. So there's a lot of things that go into making sure we, the people, have control of our nation, in our state, in our individual towns. And so all that research that I've done, and I'm sure Ben's done in the background in order to run for office,
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but once you have it all together,
it's not difficult, but it's not stuff you ordinarily learn. So you just, it really helps to know somebody, I guess, and get out there and get involved. That's really what helped me get started down that road. For those who don't know, I ran for state senate. And that was one of the things I did. I ran for a couple different offices, but most recently ran for state senate. And, like Teresa said, it's not necessarily stuff that's, you learn in school, okay, when you're kiddies, when you are ready to run for office, this is what you do. There's no course in school on how to do that. So yeah, you got to learn.
And what I think is so amazing about this is that we're going to try and make sure that this isn't like, this isn't what we've seen in the past, where we have people who run for office and then you never hear from them again. And
Right.
all of that blood, sweat, and tears that went into their run is never transferred. All that knowledge transfer goes away when they go away. And that's happened time after time after time again. And what we're wanting to do is take all this knowledge transfer, because I'm sure you two will probably consider running again in the future. I will never run, I don't believe. I mean, they'll probably dredge this up if I do. But
we might drag you into running.
dog catcher.
No.
But yeah,
You'd be a great dog catcher.
I am awesome at it. I've got a I just throw meat out in the driveway. So
I think you should be Speaker of the House here in Illinois.
Well, we'll let the people decide who that is. but what I'm getting is all that knowledge we will actually be able to take into the next generation, hopefully, and that's really the big hope, is that everything that you did, all of your research on, all this diligent research, Teresa, in compiling resources, to be able to take that and make sure that it goes on to the next generation, to take all the information that Ben has on that he's been teaching in his college courses and turn that into its own set of courses and bring that into the next generation. Really, it's going to be a voter and a candidate resource. I kind of get the feeling that what we're trying to do with this organization is kind of augment what the GOP hasn't done. We've just got a bunch of rhinos sitting in chairs. And I still consider myself Republican, I guess. I mean, old school Republican, definitely not a rhino.
Let me put a caveat on that, though. Here in Will County, we've been working hard to get rid of rhinos and get rid of, I would say, even false Republicans. We actually censured Adam Kinzinger at the Will County Central Committee level. We said, you're off base. As a politician, you don't represent the values anymore. We're throwing our censure on you. So we did that. And we are trying to move into getting more, I don't want to say true conservatives so much.
Well, yeah, sorry, you kind of paused for a second, Ben. I want to get back to you, by the way, as well, on talking about what's happening with his campaign. Not his campaign, but his podcast.
Lost me there for a second.
Your internet gets a little wonky at times.
It does.
I've become really sensitive to noticing, like, you'll freeze before the audio stops. I'm like, oh, snap out of that.
Well, you're freezing too. Christian, you're freezing too.
Am I? Well, I've been checking my internet all day. It's been pretty good.
It's that cold basement of his.
It is. But I wanted to kind of talk to you, Ben, about what's going on with your upcoming year, what you have as far as plans go. I know that you have a course coming up that I'm supposed to help you produce as well, that I'm looking forward to doing. What else goals and plans and hopes and direction do you have for 2022?
Well, just to start with, 2021 ended on an absolute horrific note for my family. Not anything wrong with my family, just a personal tragedy within the family itself. I lost a son.
Yeah.
And so I was going to run for office. I was going to run for county board. But I'm not going to be running this year or next, because I want to concentrate instead on my family and make sure they're okay. And it doesn't mean I'm stopping everything. I am a township chair here in Jackson Township, which is in Elwood, Illinois. And I'm still moving forward. And what we've been talking about, and we got to stop talking and do, is actually produce a series of videos. And for those who don't know, I am a professor at 2 local colleges here, and I teach political science. So I'm going to produce a course on American government with heavy concentration on the Constitution. And you may ask why. And
wouldn't you say it's probably best characterized as like a primer for those who want to run for office at some point?
Well, definitely to help them understand what the Constitution says and where they should stand, if they're going to run for office. Also, then to so produce that, and it's really not so much in the production of the video itself. It's more in the cleaning up side and the post production side that it's kind of held us back from getting started. Once we have that nailed down, we can start putting it together, because it has to be a quality production that we can show in colleges. But then also just general knowledge for people who may want to run for office. The next part then also is, you mentioned, producing videos that will be helpful for people who want to run for office. And so we want to put stuff together for that, which won't have to be, I think, as tight of a production in terms of what goes into it. But definitely something that will be a resource for people to look at. Okay, step one, step two.
I would love to see that kind of content produced that basically gets people over being on the fence on whether or not they should actually run for office. This is meant for the average citizen. This is meant for your neighbor up the street. It's meant for you and I. This is not supposed to be career politicians every time.
Here's the crazy part about running for office. It's not hard.
No,
it takes time. And that's probably the biggest thing about it, is it actually takes some time. And that is probably what gets a lot of people. I mean, if you're net deep in running a business or, some other professional work,
yeah,
it may be difficult for you to do, because the amount of time that you got to give to running for office can be minor if you're running for school board, or if you're running for state senate, it can be very involved, or Congress. You run for Congress like Teresa did, you're going to be spending a lot of time out on the road talking to people. That's where the real rub comes in. But the other stuff is, if you just know the nuts and bolts, and like I said, it's not difficult stuff. It's just not common knowledge.
And to be perfectly honest, I'd like to make a comment on that. Running for office, one of the best things that I loved about it was meeting the people. Because you get to know your community, and your community can be small if you're running for a smaller office. But I was running for Congress, so I was running to represent about 700,000 people. That's a really big community, but you get to talk to people from all walks of life. And you think that you're doing this thing, and then all of a sudden you're talking to someone and they grab your hands and they tell you about how they escaped a communist country, and please don't let that happen here. And the look in their eyes, how they're putting all their hopes on you. And it becomes this big, I don't want to say burden. It's a responsibility, and you realize the gravity of it, and that we do need to all band together to fix our country and to save it. Mm-hmm. But the best part is meeting the people. There's just not enough time in the day to see everyone, and you want to see everyone. You get to a point where you want to hear everyone's story.
Just running as a delegate, I mean, it's the same process over and over, where you're basically introducing yourself to the people that you would be representing, and you're making that exchange, and that person is investing, going, oh yeah, this person shares my values. This is somebody I would want to have run for office. And that's just it's such a, I don't know what it does. It actually like restores hope in real time on a like it's just constant refreshing. And, because these people won't know you until you get in front of them. So what we hope to do is provide enough resources that should you run for office, that you won't spend as much time as we have all spent trying to figure out what it takes to get over that hump. Like, we want to get you on the ground running. We want to support those who hold these values sacred, these constitutional values as sacred. And
And
you're
it's
going
not
to find that you have an audience, you have a people.
and let me also stress very much that when you're running for office, the most important people, other than your constituents, the most important people in any campaign is your precinct committee people, because they are your ground game. And that's why that's one of the most important positions. If you want to get involved, that is where you get involved. That's where you make the most change. You're the one on the ground. You have a small area that you cover. It's basically your neighborhood. Or in the closer you get to Chicago, or in Chicago, it may be just a couple of blocks, but you have a small area, and these are your neighbors. You know them, and you can have those conversations. You can talk to them, and you can tell them about the candidates. You can get their signatures for the candidates so that it's less work for the candidates. And then, of course, you're talking with the candidates, because it's so much easier as a candidate to say, okay, here's a big stack of my cards or my literature. Could you go, spread that out throughout your precinct? And they'll go door to door and do that. It's you're one-on-one with the candidate. If you really want to know who's running for office and really get to know them and get to know the people, you are that bridge. A precinct committee person is that bridge between the voter and the candidates.
So I want to bring up something. Actually, I'm going to swap. If you know on notes, we had a block B and a block C. I'm going to swap those two right now, because I think we have a regular segue here available for us to talk about. There are a lot of open positions for candidates. This is an election year, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, with that, we have ballots going out here in 2022 that are going to make a huge difference here in the state of Illinois, and this is where the real work begins. We did this 2 years ago. This is how we all met when you guys were candidates. And so here we are again, doing what we can to prop up those that are running. So who has a list out of you two?
Well, I actually was looking at that earlier, and let me see if I can pull up my site. Because, talking about, getting people, I was getting another volunteer involved who's going to be not a precinct committeeman, but a precinct captain for me. So we were looking at stuff, and I was looking at stuff before that. So who's running this time, or what positions are first at, just going down the ballot, national election. This is a midterm, so there are no, president or anything or anything like that. But there are all the Congress representatives in Congress anyway are up for re-election every 2 years. So they're up here in 2022. Then at the state level, it is, of course, the governor and the lieutenant governor. Do
you have links that you can send me and I can put up for everyone, and we can share what you're looking at? Just shoot that over to me in the private chat.
Well, okay, that's going to take a minute, because I'm going off of memory instead of off of.
Are you? See, this is why Ben is the man.
Actually, I can say some of that.
I had it before. I had it up, and I'm looking for it.
I'm kind of looking at my campaign website, which I still have up because I had all the resources on there. So we don't have president. We do have.
There it is. I got it. Go ahead.
We do have a Senate seat, because I believe Duckworth is up for re-election.
Okay.
And then, of course, all the U.S. House seats, governor and lieutenant governor.
I thought Duckworth was up in 20.
No, in 20, that was Durbin.
Oh, okay. Okay.
and Mark Kern was running against him. And
Dirty
then
Durbin. Got it.
and then the state house, I think everyone is up for that. And then I think about a third of the state senate. But which districts, I'm not sure. And then
It's
I
the
believe
state
Dudley?
senate is everybody this year.
Oh, it is? Oh, yeah.
Every person.
Really?
'Cause the way the state senate works is they're on a 4, 4, and 2, and it's staggered. Okay, and what that means is they run terms that are 2 terms of 4 years and 1 term of 2 years that are staggered, and so that every 10 years the entire Senate comes up for re-election, and that happens to be this year, where the entire Senate is up for re-election.
Wow.
So here's the full list for the 2022 election. Okay.
Actually, Christian, if you
Yeah.
want to go ahead and go on that, under that, what you just had up, state positions, state senate. I believe if you click on that, it will explain the terms in office.
Okay. Yeah, I happen to pull up the 2022 candidates guide, so that's
the
where
candidates
All
guide is
these-
right over there too.
I think what Teresa was trying to point out is that all these resources that she's compiled, like almost like an instructional manual, like she was
And
making
this
it
is
for
just
her
state
kids.
senate.
Right. This content that she had compiled is actually all going to get migrated over to Rebuild Illinois, which is fantastic. We're super thankful for. I think it's a wonderful place for that to live on. But then we're going to try and do more in keeping up to date and say, hey, look, we have positions that are open that need to have somebody running for them.
Mhm.
And these are jobs that we have seen like at the county level with great Will County leadership. George Pearson did an amazing job making sure that all the positions were filled that came up that year. I'm not even from Will County. I'm from way up north from there. And I got suckered into like working with you guys. But let's be honest, I'm part of Cook County for some unknown reason other than gerrymandering.
I got out.
I know.
I
you
moved
got
out of Cook County. Yay!
It's almost like moving out of Illinois to move out of Cook
Yes!
County.
I joined the
Almost, not quite.
Not quite. Almost, though. Very close. You just got one or two.
I'm very
more
close
counties.
to Indiana. I'm closer to Indiana than you guys. I'm closer to the state line than I think you guys are.
I think so. I like living where I can have one toe off. It's like if you keep one foot on the floor, it's not really sleeping in that bed, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
But the goal.
where were we at in listing
We're-
these?
we want to see if we plan to have this entire list available to you guys on rebuildillinois.org. We're in the process of migrating all this data, and then we're going to keep that sheet up to date and let you know who's in those, what we think of them. We'll be in there.
What other positions?
Understand that every single state office is up for election. Okay. The governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, state comptroller, state treasurer, and I said that now I don't see the state's attorney on that list. The other ones, going down at the county level, you have the county clerk, county treasurers, county assessors.
We'll go back, Christian.
Yeah. And those are, so we're getting more local level, and these positions are probably a little less intimidating for people who want to run. There's also members of boards of review.
So you see the county positions, Christian?
Regional superintendent. There's county, for us, county board members. There are sanitary districts. There are
we have
also
a good friend running for
boards of education as well. So if you've been following your school and you want to know, and you want to get more active in your schools, what's going on with your school. This is the year that you can do that. You can get on the board of education that sits over your school and help to make informed policy.
Well, I'm going to
Christian, because you have the local positions is cut off.
Yep.
And he was talking about that. The local positions down there at the bottom there.
Yeah.
For your school board, board of education. all of that township,
Mhm.
sanitation, park district, road district, fire. Who knew that there was a road district?
Yeah.
Some of these
No
you sit
kidding.
there and you go, there's actually a position for that.
Yeah, there's so much opportunity to change things this year, that really now this is when the work begins. There's a time for activism when we're in between election years, but when it comes down to elections, this is your wheelhouse. This has been in Teresa's wheelhouse, is to figure out
Mhm.
to figure out how to get all that voter information. And like I said, I'm going to make a commitment right now that I have gone to the polls multiple times, and there is nobody that offers like, hey, this is what you're going to see on your ballot. I mean, what about the judges, right? You ever remember the judges? I mean, it's just like, I don't know. How about every other one? It's like multiple choice in high school. Hope I pass this science test. If I just mark them all D, then, or C, then maybe I'll get a couple that are good. And
Let me explain something about the judges, though. They're not allowed to say what party they're with.
right.
So you
You have
don't
to
know
research
who
it.
you're getting. You could be getting a communist type judge, or you could be getting an ultra conservative. You don't know where that person is. So it would be great just to have people in the background to research all of the people running
So
that's on the ballot
my
to
commitment is
say these are where they
provide
stand
to
on
the
stuff.
voters, at least from our collective point of view, these are the people that we're going to give that endorsement. That was one of the original reasons Rebuild Illinois was built, was to give endorsement for liberty-minded candidates.
And remember, just because there's only one name in a position doesn't mean you have only one choice. Your other choice is to not vote for that person. You can leave
Right.
it blank.
Right. Well,
So there's all kinds of little quirky things when it comes to elections.
before you guys walk into a booth, I'm like I said, I'm going to recommit. You in Illinois will have something that you can print out, because I don't know, some of the rules, they won't let you bring in a phone into the voting booth. Some are a little lax on it. I mean, the variables are pretty high. I've seen both, but they can't prevent you from walking in with a piece of paper.
Right.
And we are going to provide printouts with the information we believe, liberty-minded or not liberty-minded. When we talked about Ben talking about that pendulum of, are these guys going to bring us closer to liberty or further from it on either side, you're going to have an endorsement of whether or not they are a liberty-minded candidate. I know it sounds like I'm making a libertarian pitch, but really, anybody who's a constitutionalist, our Republican Party should be the constitutionalists out of these candidates. It's just that sometimes even the Republicans are not liberty-minded. They are rhino in name only, or Republican in name only, rhino in name only. That only happens at the zoo.
Well, and remember that the Republican Party was originally established as a party of freedom and liberty for all. It was established to be an anti-slavery party. And of course, since slavery is not the law of the land, we're instead of fighting against slavery, now we're fighting against communism.
Marxism,
So
basically.
we're in
It's
the
not
same
even communism. They're trying to establish a communism, but it's really the philosophy. You want to get into political theory, go Google Marxism. You want to really understand this. That's what's happened in the past 20 years in our educational system. That's what's been taught. That's what these undereducated or overeducated, I don't know what you want to call them, they think they're overeducated. I think they've only been given one side.
Actually,
they're overeducated in one school of thought.
My dad had a saying that some people are so educated that they've been educated back to stupidity.
Well, I think my dad
And for
said
some people, I
similar,
think that's
but I
true.
can't repeat what he called them.
What?
I think my dad said something similar. I just don't know if I can repeat what he said. So
there we go.
But we
Ben
know
is
that,
doing his best fighting the
Ben has
educational
not been
battle in the
overeducated.
classroom, I believe. So, yeah. So does that summarize kind of what I think we've kind of gone over aspirations. I didn't go over what my aspirations are, but like I said, my aspirations are to make sure that by the time you guys get into the polling booths, you're well armed, both either in your minds alone, which we hope that you know who it is you're voting for. And for those times when you can't remember exactly who's who or where they stand, we're able to augment that knowledge, give you something to prop you up, because trying to remember everything about 50 people on a little black and white piece of paper with no D or R, I didn't get to tell you anything. And half the time the D and the R lies. Our buddy
And
Mark Duran's been on both sides of that part on that line.
And we also want to
Mhm.
arm you so you can vote plus, is what I call it. Vote plus. What that means is, yes, it's important that you go and vote because your vote does matter. However, as we've seen in 2020, there's a lot of things that can happen behind the scenes with your vote. So we need you to be active, and we need you to do something else. Be a poll watcher, be an election judge. All of that is also going to be coming. If you want to be an election judge or a poll watcher, that information will also be up. So
that is something that we are getting very busy with. Is I think we learned a lot in this past electoral cycle. Would that be an understatement to say we've learned how the bank got robbed, and now we're
I think
Oh gosh, yes.
I think I did the numbers on that with what they said President Trump got, the number of votes, which we know that was off. But what they said, if you take only 1% of that, if only 1% of those people would have been an election judge or a poll watcher, and so you take that number and you divide it by how many voting locations we had throughout the United States, every single voting location would have had 9 sets of eyes, of Trump voting eyes on those polls. 9, with only 1%.
wow.
Yeah.
That's all it took. But because so many people were just showing up to vote and then going home and not doing anything, that's where we lost it. That's why we are in.
Well, they've been told for so long that, hey, your responsibility as a citizen is to get out and vote. And the truth of the matter is that all, if that is all you're doing, you're getting the wool pulled over your eyes every single time.
Well, and this brings me to an interesting segue. In Telegram land, we have seen a large exodus from mainstream social media, Facebook and the like, and a lot of people have gone to Gab, and a lot of people have gone to Getter and all these other things. But our community is pretty strongly based in Telegram, and that's where we've been building it, because we think that it's more of it's a general use tool. It's not a complete echo chamber. And it allows us to do a little bit of what I would consider to be evangelistic work when it comes to the ideas of liberty and constitutional thought. And so you'll get people that kind of lean and are looking for a place to find community. And that's got a lot more users in there than you would find on Getter, than you would find on, you know what I mean? We saw what happened with Parler. And I just don't trust that. I want to be on a ship that they can't sink because we're not the only people on it. So we intentionally built our community on Telegram, and in light of what happens with Telegram, we've actually built a coalition of a lot of conservative groups, and we've seen infiltration. We've seen my kids are doing something crazy upstairs. I don't know what it is, but they sound like they're singing. I think they're singing "Happy Birthday."
By the way, as we're broadcasting this, Ben is at his home. I'm at my home. Christian's at his home.
Yes.
And our kids are somewhere in the background.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Mine are eating pizza, and I hope they leave enough for me for after this.
Right. Well, anyway, my point is,
we got about 12 kids.
We
recently about 12 kids between us.
Oh yeah, we got a baseball team.
I have 3.
So anyway. Let me bring this home here. In some of these groups, we just had an attack in a couple of Telegram groups where we had groups hacked, and what they were going after were groups that were trying to organize committee, precinct committeemen, and those have all gotten rebuilt. Come to find out, I happen to know the guy who is running those channels. I met him at a different business opportunity. I hope to have him on as a guest, but he's like running 4 of those groups that just got reestablished. But it's interesting to me that what these I'm not even going to voice it, but what these enemies of freedom and liberty hope to do is to get all of us conservatives to infight, to argue with each other. They want to basically try and psyop those who basically already all agree on liberty. I don't think they understand. Our wonderful friends over at Sat Media got a lot of ideas from the stuff we're doing, and that wasn't accidental. That wasn't theft. That was nurturing.
Nice segue.
You know what I mean? That was nurturing them into, the truth is we should have 15 organizations doing this, not 2, not 3.
Mm-hmm.
And the more voices that ring out for educating liberty concepts, constitutional concepts, the better off we're going to be. As a matter of fact, I want to see youth groups. I want to see more people under the age of 30 doing this, because this is their territory. I mean, we're preaching to the choir. There's no one our age that hasn't already made up their mind in one way or another. So there's it's hard to believe that my son and his friends and my daughter are all going to be a voting age this next cycle. So who's reaching them? Mm-hmm. They're not going to tune in to watch old fogies like you and me. Sorry, Ben. Teresa, you're still young.
Oh,
see how well I handled that.
God bless you.
What we see last night, Teresa's 29 still.
I think she's 29.
Yes. Well, my 29th birthday is coming up again. Yes. In about a week.
Weren't you saying that your grandmother died at 29? Was that right?
I'm sorry?
I think Ben said his grandmother died at 29.
Yeah, my grandmother died at 29. Now, man, keep in mind she was very white-haired in a scooter and at an old folks' home, but she was 29. Yeah,
she was a very experienced 29.
I might go ahead and change that to 39 because that was also pretty,
Well, guys,
29, you're still kind of like getting your feet wet in life. I think I'm a little bit more knowledgeable.
I want to.
Yeah, I like 29.
I want to close out that segment though, and let people know. Let anyone who happens to I don't know, lurk in our groups and look for chinks in the armor. We don't go down easy. We have a common goal, and that common goal is liberty. And that and God-fearing men and women. Good luck. If anything, I would be worried about possibly. I think your greatest fear is having to sit down and have a conversation with us, because you just might change your mind.
Yes. And because we fully understand, united we stand and divided we fall. So we're not going to be divided. And this whole thing, we've been with a lot of different people. We're nurturing a lot of people. Look at what we've been talking about. We want to teach you how to run for office and how to be a precinct committee person, how to get involved.
If we were worried about hoarding information, I wouldn't be driving an hour and 2 hours away to make sure that these guys have the ability to operate independently from me. I mean, my goal is to enable these thought leaders, and that's what these two sitting to my right are. They're both thought leaders.
Yeah.
So, and there's more of you out there, and we're going to do what we can to make sure that you're put onto the right platforms and that people hear your voice. We already know you have a voice. We want to help magnify that.
Now,
and certainly we would like to be able to grow Rebuild Illinois
to
a larger platform. But if people want to do their own thing, hey, we're happy to help them out and get them started. And when I mean we, I mean mainly Christian is the one with the knowledge on that.
That'll change. That will change.
So yeah, but yeah, we're happy to do that. So yes, both are true. And if you come on, let's just say for what it is, when you come on and try to cause division in groups like ours, the only thing we do is laugh and go delete, because
have fun.
Really, I mean, we're we're a little bigger than that. We're grown. We're a little bit more mature than apparently, these people are that come in and do that kind of thing.
And our detractors, yes.
Right. So we, we're just not going to
We
bite
were all
that.
kids once.
We're not going to
I
bite
think
that
that's
bait.
what we're trying
you
to
know?
say, Ben. Right?
Well, and
We-
let me.
What's
let
that?
me-
We were all young, stupid kids once too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, and let me
I
explain
got
this.
the scars to prove it.
Like with ISAT and other groups that we may have, we consider them more like our siblings.
Yes.
And when someone from the outside wants to come in and start causing division and attacking us, that kind of makes us bond more. And then we unite and go against, because you don't mess with the siblings. You don't mess with that family. We're a family. And when we can help nurture another member of that freedom loving and liberty loving family, we will. And if someone from the outside who hates freedom and hates liberty wants to come out and try and cause division, we'll unite and we'll come in. We'll throw it back at you.
Yeah. Well, I'm just, like I said, if you haven't checked them out, I'm going to pull their URL up. I want everyone to make sure they go over and subscribe over there. We want to see them succeed as much as we want to see this channel succeed. We're not leaving any man behind when it comes to people who want to spread truth, who want to fight for liberty. You think we're gonna let squabbles get between that? You're out of your mind. I mean, if you want to continue thinking that, please waste your energy on that. But until then, we're in it for the long
And Ben
haul.
knows all about No Man Left Behind, right? Military background.
Yeah, we don't do that. It's I should say, obviously, you go to Vietnam or Korea or a place like that, and we're still bringing soldiers home. So it may take a while, but we do everything we can to get you and bring you home.
Yep.
And so, gosh, we don't even have to like each other. That's one thing I learned in the Marine Corps. You don't have to like each other. That's not what's important. What's important is that you have a common mission and a common goal, that you're going to put aside any squabbles and you're going to work on that. And that's true of anybody. And, and one of the things that sometimes hurts, I think, conservatives, I use that term broadly, because I mean liberty-minded people. Sometimes what hurts us is we do squabble, but you're seeing more and more that, okay, let's stop. There are certain things we can agree on. Let's just work on those. And we're getting so much more done by doing that, rather than focusing on the things we don't agree on.
Yeah, not everybody in the military agrees on everything.
No, but you agree that you're there for a purpose, and that's what you're going to fight for.
You may disagree about the method with which to accomplish the goal, but you have the same goal.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at, even with other groups. We all have the same goal. We may have different methods or routes or plans or ideas on how to reach that goal, but we're all working towards that same goal.
And I'm not ignorant that those who would oppose constitutional representative republic have their own goals of destroying it. They have a goal too. They're not goalless. It's just that, I'm sorry, I think you're picking on the wrong kid. We've seen that before. But anyway, like I said, make sure that you check the link down here below. Go to YouTube, give a subscription to Sat Media IL. That's on YouTube. And right now they are standing at 558 subscribers. Let's get them monetized, people. Let's have everybody who watches this go there and hit that subscribe button and get them over there. And by the way, I think we have a subscribe button as well. If you're watching us on YouTube, do that. Follow us if we're on Twitch. We do have a Facebook group. We're doing what we can to build this. We've been very busy basically trying to throw 2021 in the trash can, so we will get caught up. And soon what we will have is our rebuildillinois.org website fully up and running with all the resources that both Ben and Teresa have been building over the 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. They compiled immense resources, and there's a lot of others that we know within just the Will County Republicans alone that are going to probably say, hey, you know what? if there's a place to hand down this information, we hope to be that place.
And let me also say, to kind of springboard off of something that Ben was saying earlier, I built that website. That was going to be my website to run again. I was planning on running for 2022. And just 2021 was a nightmare on steroids.
Yeah.
And about
Insane.
2 weeks before my
Mhm.
announcement, tragedy struck my family. And just like Ben, I need to be there for my family to make sure that everyone is doing okay before I step back into running for office, because it is time consuming.
Yeah.
And there are times that you have to pull back and you need to be there for your family, especially when you have kids. So we're focusing on our kids. And if we weren't doing that, I don't know if people would really be able to respect us as leaders if we didn't pull back and give our families the attention that they need when they need it. But this was my intention, was to run for office and to get people activated. And I actually got the idea from Ben, because we were at an event. Oh gosh, was it last year? Oh gosh.
You're going to have to refresh my memory.
There was a tent. I know that George was there. Bunch of us were talking, but you started talking about, if you want to get involved, if you want to run for office, get a hold of me. I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, you know what? That's what we need to be doing. We need to be mentoring the next class, if you want to call it class, of candidates, because our knowledge should not go to waste. It should not.
Mm-hmm.
We need a mentor.
Absolutely.
And if anyone wants to run for office, let us know. Contact us, and through Telegram or Twitch, whatever, all those Christian handles all the platforms. So contact us through there, and he'll get Ben and I in contact, and we can mentor you. Well, I'm not sure if Ben is in a position right now ready to mentor.
I can give information for sure.
We can give information.
Well, I had somebody in my house today. So somebody who wants to get involved in the precinct. And so I sat down with him and talked with him a little bit. So,
by the way,
unfortunately, it's, you can't just stop life. As much as I'd love to, it doesn't work that way. So, life continues.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we'll work and we'll help you out, people.
Pushing through it.
Yeah. And I think for me, especially, even though I have to deal with the chaos in my own home sometimes, in the aftermath of everything that happened in 2021, it is very rewarding for me when I'm able to help others and push forward. Because even though I'm dealing with the micro level issues, we still have to make sure that in the process, that we don't lose this state further. We need to save it. And
to segue that, and like I think one of the last things on our talking points that we wanted to go over was, if you plan to run for office, please reach out to us. We do have a Telegram site here. Please join that chat group. Let us know if you're running for office. We will get somebody in touch with you, and do what we can to help you circulate petitions, because the race is on.
And I'll be honest, I love that part.
Yeah,
I loved getting signatures.
And next week we're gonna be talking about the petitions, and so we'll be ready to discuss that and show you how to properly fill out a petition.
Awesome.
And wonderful tips and tricks on if you want to go around and get signatures for candidates. There's ways to make it more efficient and to really get through the whole process. Basically, in an hour's time, you can have as much as 10 signatures easily. You can have more because sometimes you'll knock on a door and you've got the mom, dad, and you've got maybe 1 or 2 children that are over the age of 18 that are there too, or maybe a grandparent that's there. So
I went to a high school football game and got 50.
wow.
You know,
Well,
so
we do quite well at the gun. We do well at the gun ranges too. That was
Yeah.
like my top place when we were actually getting signatures for Dr. Ron Paul back in 2012. We did really well with
Right.
Really?
working out of Gat's Guns. It was fantastic here in Elgin.
But one of the things I think we're going to bring about is being able to do different. If you're don't circulate for just one person. I mean, you can, but if you can, try and know the multiple candidates that are running for different offices, so that you can say, oh, well, here's the Senate candidate. Oh, here's the House candidate. Here's the.
Why don't we save that for next
But
week?
we're going to go into all that. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to know any other links, we
Yes,
will
sure.
keep that up to date on our link tree. That's linktr.ee/Rebuild Illinois. Anyone that is working in a conservative movement in Illinois, we're trying to make that as a simple way of everybody getting those links, handing those out. Like I said, Telegram chat is still our primary place that we're doing most of our community work. We are backing up all of our shows as well to Odyssey. That is our Odyssey channel, and that is not able to be taken down. And we will constantly be working on this website. I actually believe we're going to be moving it to a different server real soon because of we just have some many more resources that we're not tapping into that we have available to us. So we have a lot of changes coming up really soon, and all of Teresa's wonderful work will be migrated to that. Ben will have all of his positions that are open and information on how you want to run. We are 7 minutes over our hour. I didn't want to get this too long. Do you guys have any closing thoughts?
See you next week.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
That's how we're
See you
running
next
it.
week, and let's rock the 2022.
Well, guys, I'm gonna let you go out with our song that we will be cutting into our intro. That will be the theme of our site. Thanks.
Let's make this a year to celebrate.
Yeah, we will see a lot of wins this year. And guys, I'm going to leave you with Billy's song. This will be our theme going into the future. Enjoy, and we'll talk with you all very soon.
Alive and well, I'm wide awake. Won't take your brand, I'm not your slave. You serve your God, Lord of the flies. I pity you and you mean mine. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes. Your bloody mouth unsatisfied. God sees the trap you set for me. He'll not be mocked, I will be free. We will not bend, we will not break. How dare you touch what God gave? We'll never give in, never give up, never back down, never surrender, never surrender. Your fear will not make me behave. I won't march in your masked parade. Your hollow threats won't shut me up. I won't bow down, enough's enough. You say you'll give us what we need, as if you own the air we breathe. Stand up 100 million strong. Thought we lied down, well you thought wrong. We will not bend, we will not break. How dare you touch what God gave? We'll never give in, never give up, never back down, never surrender, never surrender. I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus with me every step. Just keep going, keep on going. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus closer than my breath. Just keep going, keep on going. We will not bend, we will not break. How dare you touch what God gave. We'll never give up, never back down. We'll never give up, never back down. We'll never give up, never back down. Never surrender. I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus with me every step. Just keep going, keep on going. Walk through the valley of the shadow